Hey everyone, and welcome back, demigods, to day 2 of Porch Talk. This is just Porch Talks. This is where I do a vlog series of just talking about any old thing. I apologize, there, as you can hear, leaf blowers going out throughout the neighborhood, as today is actually a relatively decent day. But also, there's a train, if you can hear that too, way in the back. But it's a beautiful day. I'm glad I could share it with you. I wanted to share with you guys one of my favorite books. This is The Power of Myth. It's by Joseph Campbell and with Bill Moyers. So back in like the 70s and 80s, so a long time ago, there was this guy named Joseph Campbell, and he researched, and what his studies was about comparative mythology. He started comparing myths and stories and religions from across the whole world. And he's like, well, there's some patterns here. And he covers these patterns in an interview. He was interviewed by Bill Moyers originally one time on TV, and because of how much people demanded to hear more, to have more content, they went back and they published it. I even have the DVD. I mean, it's great, and he has got great stuff. So comparative mythology is, like I said, is comparing myths across the world, seeing patterns, seeing what connects us as people. What is the importance of myths? What is the importance of the symbolism, the evolving, the evolution of myth? Where does it come from? How does it affect us as people? And what does it mean for the future, the past and present? What does this actually mean? Why do I actually care? And that is because these stories, and it may be myths to some, and maybe belief to others, depending on what religion you are. Different religions follow different things, and different beliefs believe different things as well. Shape and mold our lives, and they mold our perception of things, as well as how we perceive the world and how we interact with others. We may not understand how someone else can believe in the fact that the water is purple instead of water being blue. Well, maybe that's their belief, and the reason why it's a different shade of purple is something else. But he goes into it a lot in here. And I think one of the most important things you can take out of this book, other than reading it yourself, please read this book. Please look at the interviews. They are online. There is a whole foundation for Joseph Campbell. And there was a time almost that his books were almost not going to be printed. So please look into the foundation and see if you can do anything, because his books are fantastic. There are tons of them about mythology. And I highly recommend them. I mean, they're the bee's knees, right? I don't know anyone who actually says that, so here you go. You guys can reference this video for someone who actually said that reference. But yes, I recommend it a lot. It makes me ecstatic, because he is the one that determined that these comparative mythologies follow what's called the hero's journey. The hero's journey is a circle. Let's see if I can find it right here. It's the beginning. It is a circle, and it starts with the hero starting off a regular day in their life, and there's a call and adventure. This call and adventure leads the hero out to go on some crazy escapade. Before he does that, he needs some help, or she needs some help, and they meet a mentor. Obi-Wan Kenobi, maybe, or maybe, I don't know, Master Yoda. You're starting to see where this is going, huh? The hero's journey that Joseph Campbell has, I guess, discovered or linked together from all the other stories of the world is in everything. It's in you and me. It's in the way we live our lives. It's in the way that we learn. It's in the way we grow. And it's also in every form of media that we touch as human beings, because if it's part of us, if we're the first vessel to design things first, it comes from us, then we design something, well, then it's going to show up in whatever we're touching. So the hero's journey is going to be everywhere you go, as long as you're traveling along that path, even if you feel like you're struggling, even if you're hitting a roadblock or a writer's block, or who knows, anything. But let's see if I can find that circle real quick. Should have pulled it up beforehand, but it's a porch talk, it's not a TED talk. So but he talks about a lot of things in here. And the one main thing that I've always pulled from this book, whenever, especially when I'm feeling down, right? I mean, I have a lot of dog tag pages in this, is to follow your bliss. If you feel like you're struggling and you don't feel like you're in the right place, follow what makes you happy. You know, if you are happy to do the job or happy to do the work or whatever it is, and it's happy to see your family happy, and if you like to see those things, follow your bliss. Unfortunately, I'm not seeing his circle, but I know it's in here somewhere. Let me see if it's in the table of contents. But I have a ton of books from him. Here's Adventure 151. Let's see that. He also goes over like the first storytellers, shamans, you know, back in the day, cave paintings, you know, and even the old stories that, you know, were passed down orally. Think about it. That's how important myth was, you know, and still is, that stories are passed down orally. And we talk about things, even between us now in the day and age of the internet and everything. We share content constantly of stories or situations that we find worthy with other people. What makes that stuff worthy? What makes that stuff important? You know, why do we care? Well, sorry, one of my neighbors drove by. Making sure I'm not gonna scare him out here on the porch talking to myself. It's a real reality. Huh? Pandemic's finally got me. I've lost it. All my marbles. To be honest, I don't think I actually own any marbles. I don't see this circle. But you know what I'll do? I'll make it the thumbnail. I'll make it the thumbnail of today's porch talk. And I'll put it in the comments or something. But you could Google it. Joseph Campbell's Hero's Journey. And you've seen it. It's in Hunger Games. It's in Harry Potter. It's in everything. It's in Star Wars, if you're a big Star Wars fan. But it's in just about everything you can imagine. Now, why do we care? You know, I'm just going to flip through this real quick and just see what some of the dog tag stuff I got in here is. Right? Dog tagged a lot in this. All right. What is this one? You think that the first humans who told the story of creation had some intuitive awareness of the allegorical nature of these stories? I don't think the first humans could spell allegorical, to be honest. But Campbell responds back, because some Moyers is asking Campbell this question, and this is part of the interview process. Campbell's answers back. Yes, they were saying it as if it were thus. The notion that somebody literally made the world, that is what is known as artificialism. It is the child's way of thinking. The table is made, so somebody made the table. The world is here, so somebody must have made it. There is another point of view involving emanation and precipitation without personification. A lot of big words there. And sound precipitates air, then fire, then water and earth. And that's how the world becomes. The whole universe is included in this first sound, this vibration, which then commits all things to fragmentation in the field of time. In this view, there is not someone outside who said, let it happen. Sorry, I added that little attitude to it. Let the world come together. Let the Big Bang happen. Yeah, you got nothing else to do, right? Let's just let it go. Let it go. Let's see what happens. In most cultures, there are 2 or 3 creation stories, not just one. There are 2 in the Bible, even though people treat them as one story. You remember in the Garden of Eden story of chapter 2, God is trying to think of ways to entertain Adam, whom he has created to be his gardener, to take care of his garden. Then that is an old story that was borrowed from ancient Sumer. Sumer is an old civilization long ago. The gods wanted someone to take care of their garden and cultivate the land that they needed, so they created man. That's the background of the myth of chapters 2 and 3 in Genesis. But Yahweh's gardener is bored. So God tries to invent toys for him. He creates the animals, but all the man can do is name them. Sorry, can you imagine if you were God and you're trying to help this person and you're like, here, look, I've brought you these things that can help you. Oh, that's a zebra. No, I don't need you to name them. You're here to help you. Ah, that's a giraffe. I don't think he's getting the point, right? He's got the spirit, he just ain't got the point. Then God thinks, so he creates the animals, but all the man could do is name them. Then God thinks of this grand idea of drawing the soul of woman out of Adam's own body, which is a very different creation story from chapter 1 of Genesis, where God created Adam and Eve together in the image of himself, as male and female. There, God is himself in the primordial androgyny. Another big word, huh? Chapter 2 is by far the earlier story, coming from perhaps the 8th century or so BC, whereas chapter 1 is of a so-called priestly text of about the 4th century BC or later. In the Hindu story of the self that felt fear, then desire, then split in two, we have a counterpart of Genesis 2. In Genesis, it is man, not the God, who splits in two. The Greek legend that tells Aristophanes tells in Plato's Symposium is another of this kind. Aristophanes says that in the beginning there were creatures composed of what are now 2 human beings, and those were of 3 sorts, male, female, male and male, and female. The gods then split them all in 2. But after they had been split apart, all they could think of to do was to embrace each other again in order to reconstitute the original units. So we all now spend our lives trying to find and re-embrace our other halves. Wow. I really like that last part. The last part was really cool. The Greeks believed that there were kind of like a set of humans, male and female, male, female and female, and that they were split apart, and that's what you're looking for. Well, hello, Porch Cat. It looks like we're getting a co-host today. I'll see if he'll come up. Hello. Come here. Come here, Porch Cat. You came just in the nick of time. Can you say hello to the camera and let me pick you up? All right. We got a little co-host today. This is Porch Cat. He's a really pretty kitty. He's very friendly. He's not mine. He's the neighbor's. You don't like the face, babe? You didn't like the face? Here. You want to sit up here with me? You're a little cold, dude. You know, it's a little chilly. But you're a good boy. You are. You're a good boy. You watching the squirrels? Porch Cat, can you say hello one more time? I think you're gonna get going, huh? Hello. You didn't like that one, did you? Anthropomorphizing poor Porch Cat. I'm sorry, Porch Cat. Oh, you got a little, what is this? You got a little neck on your back here. What is that? Hey, what are you even up to? What is this? Yeah, you got some like white paint on you. Did you go walk with paint? I got it off of you. You're welcome. Is that what was bothering you? You're welcome. Man, you were just a loudmouth. So, there's a lot of things now. And then, of course, now we're in modern age. There's so many different genders and, you know, identities that people believe in and that they have every right to be. It's their life. They have a right to choose what they want to be. Gender fluid, asexual, binomial, pansexual. I mean, I don't understand why people are attracted to kitchenware, but hey, man, I don't judge here. This is the porch talk, you know. I got a cat that won't stop meowing at me, and he doesn't care that I'm in the middle of a porch talk. Why should anyone else care what anyone else says? Anyways, I'll probably, for my next videos, please don't knock this photo over. I appreciate your love and attention. Okay. I will probably, for the next videos, I'll probably pick another excerpt out of this until we get tired of this book. But I love this book. Remember to follow your bliss. It's probably the most powerful thing you could come out of that is this. It's follow your bliss. And that just means do what makes you feel happy. You know, even if it's one little thing every day. If you're stuck in bed and you're struggling, and you don't know why you should get up, do one thing that makes you happy. Do one thing. You can do it. I mean, yeah. You know you're my favorite co-host. Don't tell that to the other ones, okay? Yeah, you're pretty chill, man. Do you like books? You wanna pick the next page here? Nose goes where? Pick it. Oh, okay, this page. Oh, I didn't dog tag this one. Okay, interesting. Good choice, Porch Cat. Porch Cat, don't fall. Don't fall, Porch Cat. Okay. So he says, don't you sometimes think, as you consider these stories, that you are drowning in other people's dreams? Campbell responds, I don't listen to other people's dreams. Moyers looks back and says, but all these myths are other people's dreams. Aha. Oh no, they're not. They are the world's dreams. They are the archetypal dreams and deal with great human problems. I know when I come to one of these thresholds now, sorry, that was 2 sentences. I know when I come to one of these thresholds now, the myth tells me about it, how to respond to certain crises of disappointment or delight or failure or success. The myths tell me where I am. What happens when people become legends? Can you say, for example, that John Wayne has become a myth? Someone goes, when a person becomes a model for other people's lives, he has moved into the sphere of being mythologized. This happens so often to actors in films where we get so many of our models. Campbell, I remember when I was a boy, Douglas Fairbanks was the model for me. Adolf Menhu was the model for my brother. Of course, those men were playing the roles of mythic figures. They were educators toward life. No figure in movie history is more engaging to me than Shane. Did you see the movie Shane? No, I didn't. It is the classic story of the stranger who rides in from outside and does good for others and rides away, not waiting for his reward. Why is it that films affect us this way? There is something magical about films. The person you are looking at is also somewhere else at the same time. That is a condition of the God. If a movie actor comes into the theater, everybody turns and looks at the movie actor. He is the real hero of the occasion. He is on another plane. He is a multiple presence. What you are seeing on the screen really isn't he, yet he comes out. Through the multiple forms, the forms of all of which this comes, out of which all of this comes is right there. So I actually studied this. Why is it that when we look at a film or look at a screen that we connect with the actors or what we're looking at? I mean, in all honesty, if you look at all scientific, we're just staring at a screen that's flashing images. So there's a lot into that, and a lot of that has to do with what's called the uncanny valley. And he touches it just a little bit. I really like this part of the section. The myths tell me where I am. The myths tell me where I am. These stories that you relate to, that you connect to, that you bring in and interact with. The things you interact with tell you just as much about the world as much as it tells about you. Pretty cool, huh? This is just 2 guys talking. This ain't, I don't know. This isn't a religious text. It's not. I'm not here to preach religion either. I just think this stuff is pretty cool. I studied interactive media and design. I said that in the first episode. But I also got to meet some pretty cool people. And I got to see and study the uncanny valley. And a lot of people are just saying that doesn't make any sense. Well, it does. The uncanny valley is where things like AI and people disconnect. There's a certain point where too much graphics or too much simulation cannot replicate real life, humans, or whatever. Doesn't mean it can't be successful. Look at Toy Story. Wonderful example of how animation was very successful, but realize it was all animation. We knew that going into it. We knew that accepting the fact that this was a toy's life. Maybe the reason why it's animation style is because maybe we're looking at it through the eyes of the toy. You know, our perception is that of toys talking to each other. Maybe we are one of those toys. We want to be one of those toys. We want to be a child, to see what a child sees. Pretty cool. Another thing is, and I believe he touches on this later, or I said my belief, is the idea of God is something that's beyond human grasp. Think about it. God's all powerful. God's all this, all these things, right? If God really is out there, well, we can't grasp it. We're only human. You know, we're the gardeners sent to the world to figure it out. We can't contemplate what is and isn't God. Is he out there? Is she out there? Is it out there? Is whatever it is out there? Is this camera God? Is this whatever? I don't know. Can't contemplate that. I'm just a human. It's like looking to an ant and saying, I am your God now. And the ant looks at me and goes, you're a tree. Oh. Wise ant. He doesn't. It's an ant. I mean, I'm sure that's very stretched, but really interesting, really cool. Brings up so many cool topics of discussion. I ain't Einstein. I'm not the smartest person in the world, but I'll tell you is it's fun and it's cool to ask questions like these, and you should be asking these questions. This is a book that should have been taught. It should have been shared in school. I have other ones of his. This by far is the best because it's like a conversation. Yeah, that's pretty much it. From the Uncanny Valley, one of my favorite things is cosplayers. They're trying to bridge that gap. I don't think they're even realizing. They're trying to emulate the things that they see on TV, these animations, these styles, these lives of artificial, and trying to bring it into the human realm. And it's pretty successful. Have you ever been to conventions or seen some of these things? Cosplayers, some of them are amazing. Absolutely phenomenal. But yeah, it's been a pleasure talking to you. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day. And this was Sean, and was Porch Cat. Guess he went back home. But thanks for hanging out with me. See you in the next video. Bye.